Today we're going to talk about the billionaire that is quietly wrecking our government. No, not this fucker. We talk about him far too much. Today we're going to talk about this fucker. Peter Thiel is the ultimate Bond villain, who is the puppet master pulling all of the strings, who believes that democracy is a failed experiment. He's got a plan, and trust me, you're not in it. You don't hear his name very often, and that is by design. See, he prefers to work in the shadows, which is why we're going to bring it to light. If you're new here, my account has already been banned once and is now being heavily watched by the TikTok gods. So every villain in my stories have a nickname. Peter's is going to be Gasteel because he is the Thiel. Gasteel was one of the main investors of PayPal with Alonia, which is where he made his first billions, and he's been using that money to dismantle democracy ever since. He once wrote, and I quote, "I no longer believe that freedom and democracy are compatible. Normal people have a midlife crisis and they go out and they buy a motorcycle or get a divorce. Gasteel decided that his midlife crisis would be overthrowing our democracy. His grand vision, something called the Dark Enlightenment. Go ahead and Google it. I'll wait. As many of you just found out, it is a far-right movement that believes that democracy is outdated and that society should be ruled by, you guessed it, a small elite group of tech billionaires. It's a monarchy for the broligarchs. But of course, even a billionaire supervillain needs its minions. Enter Alonia and the Shillbilly. Gasteel and Alonia are old friends from their days of investing in PayPal. And Gasteel became an early investor in many of his companies. And surprise, surprise, once Alonia took over Twitter, he turned it into a fascist playground faster than you can say algorithmic radicalization. And Gasteel didn't just support Shillbilly. He bought and paid for his entire political career. In 2022, Gasteel dumped $15 million into Shillbilly's campaign. Why would he do that, you ask? Shillbilly's origin of a Gasteel puppet began way before his run for Senate. See, after cashing out on Hillbilly Elegy, Vladimir Futon didn't go back to Ohio to help his constituents. Instead, he cozied up to Petey, who hired him in 2017 to work for his venture capital firm. And if you haven't gathered as much already, Gasteel's been playing the long game. He wasn't just investing in Diet Mountain Douche's career, he was grooming him for political usefulness. With Gasteel as his biggest backer, setting the stage for his pivot into politics, Gasteel didn't just bankroll his campaign, he built him from the ground up, turning Shillbilly into the perfect Trojan horse for his anti-democratic agenda. And just like Alonia bankrolling Dumpy's campaign, Gasteel's investment in Shillbilly has paid off big time. Not just in policy, but in having a loyal lapdog pushing his oligarchic authoritarian fever dreams from the White House. The only freedom that Gasteel cares about is his freedom to rule over you. It isn't about innovation. It's about spying on you, selling that information to the government, and making billions while doing it. His company, Palantir, yes, named after the evil seeing stones in Lord of the Rings, because these guys don't even try to hide it, was founded with a grant from the CIA to create surveillance tools. And now, Palantir is deeply embedded in law enforcement, ICE deportations, predictive policing, you name it. But Petey isn't working alone. Enter Larry Ellison, founder of Oracle, a company that I worked for 8 years. Oracle's databases run everything from corporate finance to government records. And Larry, who's good friends with Petey, openly bragged about recording citizens so that they behave. These two aren't just collecting data. They are creating a world where private data doesn't exist and good citizenship means doing whatever the billionaires want. What could possibly go wrong? So now let's circle back to Gasteel's endgame. Dark Enlightenment. He doesn't just want to watch you. He wants to rule you. As we discussed before, Dark Enlightenment is bringing back the monarchy for Silicon Valley's biggest nerds. The guy who came up with this theory is Nick Land, a British philosopher who got so deep into the tech pro-fascist movement, even other conservatives were alarmed. Dark Enlightenment has a who's who of authoritarian fanboys. We've got Gasteel, Curtis Yarvin, who is deeply entrenched with Gasteel and Alonia, and of course, other useful idiots like Shillbilly and Alonia. Here's the bottom line. If they get what they want, elections become ceremonial. The next leaders of our country will be handpicked by the broligarchs. And society will be run like a corporation with a CEO figurehead in charge. There will be no Congress. There will be no state law. Everything will be consolidated under one dictator, Dumpy, who will have a CEO figurehead, Alonia and/or Gastile, making all the decisions for everyone in the country. So again, Gastile and his billionaire buddies aren't just playing politics. They're waging a full-on war on our democracy while we are distracted by the circus that is Dumpy and Alonia. They are working to create a world where elections don't matter, billionaires rule unchecked, and surveillance keeps you in line. Guess what? They're currently winning. Project 2025 is 34% implemented. The reason why they're winning is because people think that this is some fringe conspiracy theory rather than an actual blueprint that they are executing right now. Here's the thing, they aren't invincible. Their power depends on us being too overwhelmed, too cynical, and too distracted to fight back. So don't give them that luxury. Call them out, expose their agenda, share this video. Lock in and make noise, because the only way we lose is if we stay silent.